games. Whoop, let's go. Hursty Games, and this how we do. Now it's time we team.
Hey there guys, welcome back to Hursty Games and welcome to another FIFA 22 rating predictions video. Today we're not doing a specific team. Today we're going to look at some players that I think could potentially be pretty overpowered at the start of FIFA 22. One thing I want to start off with this video is I'm not saying these are going to be cheap starting players. I'm saying these are going to be players that at the start of the game I think are going to be very, very effective in the game. And sadly, with that comes often a price tag. We've seen these kind of players that I'm going to show you guys today often be quite expensive at the start of FIFA 22. So just bear that in mind. And as I said, this is a rating prediction. These are cards I'm predicting to be pretty good at the start of the game. I don't know their exact ratings. These are just cards that I'm kind of putting together and thinking they'll look somewhat similar to the cards that I've made. And the only other thing to take into account is the fact that I've only played the beta gameplay. I haven't played the full release gameplay, so the gameplay can change drastically from the start of what we've got so far to the early release to even like a month or so into the game. The gameplay can be completely different. So this is just going off of the experiences I've had playing FIFA 22 gameplay so far. But without further ado, let's get into it and let's have a little look at the 12 players I've predicted will be pretty darn effective at the start of FIFA 22. Let's go. Okay, so we're going to start off with a newly transferred player to the Premier League, and we're going to look at Bailey at Aston Villa. Now, this guy looks pretty darn good, and his card on FIFA 21 was pretty decent, and I think his 22 card is going to really suit that meta. I expect him to be very, very quick. Obviously, had a very good season out in the Bundesliga, and I expect him to have a pretty darn good season at Villa. Didn't have quite the start they wanted to in the league, but a card like this, very quick, very good dribbling, a very, very good winger. It's worth noting a lot of these cards, I think actually all of these cards are like attacking players, so wingers, sort of wide midfielders or strikers. And I genuinely think that Bailey is going to be a very, very good card at the start of the game. But because of that, he's one of those players that's probably going to be pretty damn pricey because he's quick and he can shoot. Yeah, he's going to be a good one though. Up next, a player that's still potentially linked to a couple of teams, but we're looking at Keita Balde. He's currently at Monaco as things stand. He was out on loan last season, and I think the season before that as well. But he is still currently a Monaco player. I know Inter Milan have been looking at him, and I know he's been playing out wide when he has played at Monaco. But while he's been on loan, he has been an out-and-out striker. Now, he's not had the best of seasons. He's not gone out and scored loads and loads of goals at these clubs. But his card, I think, will still be pretty darn decent. I don't think he'll get a downgrade. I think he'll probably stay at around the rating he is for 21. So I don't think he's going to be like, oh, crazy big boosted card. But I think his card will suit the meta that is the start of what would potentially be a game cycle, which is a very quick player who's relatively agile and can score goals. And I think Keita Balde will probably tick all of those boxes. But again, worth bearing in mind, he might not be a Monaco card because he's been heavily linked to a lot of different clubs. And it could be that Monaco loan him out again because he has done that for the last couple of seasons. Now onto a player that I absolutely loved in 21. And I think he's had an incredible season. And that is Bamba, Jonathan Bamba at Lille. Again, I expect this guy to get upgraded. And I think his upgraded card is going to be very, very good. I think he'll just about break that 90 sort of pace rating. I think he's going to be very good at dribbling. He's going to have some good shooting. His passing will be decent as well. And I genuinely think this is a very, very good early game card to get. Obviously, being French means he links to a lot of good players anyway in the league, and you're going to get a lot of strong links, but you're going to link to a lot of very good fullbacks and defenders anyway, because there's a lot of very good French defenders and even defensive midfielders. So I would say Bamba's a very, very good early game card, but again, probably will come with a decent price because he got a lot of good links. Now, a player that season didn't quite go to plan, and that was like massively down to illness. It was the vast majority of things, with COVID being a big thing as well. We're looking at Hwang Hee-chan. Now, Hee-chan was one of my favourite early game cards on FIFA 21. His one to watch card on my RTG scored a metric butt ton of goals. I loved this guy. I had him and one to watch Werner as my strike forces, and my god, did I love having both of those cards. So I'm expecting him again to stay at 77 because I don't think he got any goals last season. But again, he also missed a lot of the season through COVID. But when he did come back, I think he got himself 7 assists. He was being used out wide quite a bit, but I don't think they'll downgrade his card too much because he showed some definite promise when coming back. And now that Malen has sort of joined the Bundesliga, I see cards like that being very, very similar, and I really see a lot of very similar cards that we've had in 21 in what I'm expecting to see from a player like Hee-chan this season. If he does get any changes to his rating, I think they'd maybe down him to a 76, but I still think he'll be very quick. I think he'll be good enough at shooting, and I think he'll be a very good early game card to get. Now a card that I very nearly left out just because of the spiteful comments we got in the Leicester City video. But I do think Daka is going to be a very good card at the start of FIFA 22. And I think Daka is going to get himself a 78. A small little boost on his previous card. Had a very good season out, obviously, where he was previously. And has come across here and I think he's going to do a very good job in England. I think he's going to do very, very well as well, learning under a player like Vardy, who is a very similar style player. Having seen Daka play live, saw him against QPR in the QPR Leicester game, I should say, sorry. And he impressed me. He was very, very impressive. I think he's got a lot of potential and I think he'll really suit the style of play that Leicester do have, which is a very, very good ability to attack very quickly on a counter. So I think Daka will be really suiting that to a T and I expect him to have a very good card. And again, I expect him to have a very high price because of that as well. And that is mainly down to very good pace and decent enough shooting. He's got a good rating and he's a very, very good card. So I expect Daka to be pretty expensive, but pretty darn good at the start of 22. And staying in the Premier League and staying with a quick striker, we're going with Dennis. Dennis at Watford, who has started off his Watford career pretty darn well with a goal straight away. Now, I don't expect him to have a huge boost or upgrade or anything to his card, purely because he didn't have the most prolific of seasons over in Bruges, and he hasn't had the most prolific of seasons really either at Cologne as well. Like, he hasn't really been a big goal scorer very often, but he started pretty well at Watford, and hopefully for Watford's sake he can keep doing that, because he's going to be a really good chance of them like staying up this season. So I expect him again to be pretty good and pretty similar to sort of what we were just saying about with Daka. Very quick, good shooting, nice and agile, and will be a very, very popular card. He's also probably going to be a little bit physical. I've seen pictures of Dennis, and he is a beefy boy. He looks like a strong lad, so I reckon Dennis is going to be a very, very good starting card. Now we're going to move on to a winger, and a slightly higher rated winger, but still not a board. I haven't got anyone who I think is going to get a board rating this FIFA, but I've gone with Lozano, who I have given a small boost, and he's now an 81 rating in my prediction. And again, this guy is going to be incredible, but he will also be very expensive. He's probably going to be one of the better sort of mid-rating range wingers in the Serie A, especially on that right-hand side. He's going to be very quick, one of, if not the quickest base cards, I reckon, in the Serie A, and one of the quickest base cards probably in the game as well. 94 pace is very, very quick. We've had a couple of 95s that we've seen as well in my predictions. But again, Lozano, incredible good dribbling. He really is a very, very good dribbler of the ball. And his FIFA 21 card, the stats that I've then sort of worked off of to go with what he would be at an 81 rating, this card looks fantastic and would be a very, very nice card to get. Napoli have got some decent little links to him as well. Good right-hand side of players that you can put together and get a nice little trio going on. So Lozano, for me, I think will be a very, very nice card, and I really look forward to seeing his card, but not playing against it. That's one thing I don't look forward to. I mentioned him before, and I have included Donyell Malen as well, who has gone to Dortmund after a very good season over at the Eredivisie side, PSV. And yeah, I think this guy's going to be very, very good indeed. The only thing to maybe take with this with a slight pinch of salt is he's probably being utilised a little bit more out wide. I've seen him a couple of times being played as a left winger at Dortmund, or sort of recently anyway, so playing on that left-hand side. When you've got someone like Haaland to try and outplay, it's going to be tricky for Marlon to get in if they're playing a one-striker system. It would probably be that Marlon wouldn't play that often, but them utilising him as a winger, sort of obviously they've just lost Jadon Sancho, so they do have sort of a bit of versatility and a bit of space to kind of make things work now. I think Marlon could be a very, very good player, and I think, again, this guy potentially will get himself a one to watch, and if he does, he's going to be pretty darn pricey anyway. But if he doesn't get a one to watch, or as and when his regular card is in packs, definitely keep your eye on him, because I think he's going to be expensive, but I think he's going to be very good. Dutch and in the Bundesliga as well is not a terrible link to have. Plenty of good links off to other players in other leagues. But yeah, Marlon for me is definitely one to keep your eyes on. Now off to the Ligue 1, and we're going to go back to Monaco, and we're going to look at Gelson Martins. Now Martins, I don't think is going to get like an upgrade or anything like that. I don't think he's had a particularly incredible season, but I do think his card will still carry over and be pretty darn effective. As I said, I don't expect him to get like a big boosted card and be like, oh my god, his card's so much better than last year. But I think for the start of the game, Gelson Martins will be very, very good to get, especially if we still have players at Monaco, and there still are some good players to sort of link to him in the Ligue 1. If obviously we have Renato Sanchez, if he stays, then that's a really nice link off into Martins, and you could have him between him and Bamba, and then you've got a really nice little link across all of those. So someone like Martins, I think, really will be a very, very good card at the start of the game. And again, it's normally pretty darn effective anyway, but keep your eyes on this guy. Again, I don't expect him to get like a big crazy boost, but I do expect him to be expensive and very good at the start of the game. Going back to the Prem and going to a player that I haven't upgraded, he could potentially peak at an 82, but I've predicted Pulisic to keep at an 81. Not because Pulisic has had a bad season, it's been a relatively sporadic season for him. He's not really started consistently, he's not really been like in that starting lineup all the time, and I think under Tuchel, with the amount of versatility and the amount of options they have, it's been difficult for them to kind of break in and cement a first team place because they've got a lot of versatility, especially in those positions. But Pulisic for me would be a very good early game card. Again, the only thing to sort of that would scrub him off this list normally would be that if he does get boosted, it'll be a little bit high rated, so will have a value because of his rating outside of just being good. But I do think Pulisic is going to have a very good starting card, and I think the pace is going to be very, very effective. 84 dribbling is a prediction as well. He had a very high dribbling for his rating last FIFA. I have upped it to an 84 from an 83, I'm fairly sure it was. But I think Pulisic looks fantastic. I think he will be a very, very good card, a very usable card. But again, pricey, but definitely worth picking up if you can. The penultimate player on this list is going to be Rodrigo from Leeds. Again, I haven't boosted his card because he didn't have the best goal-scoring season. Bamford had an absolute blinder, and so Rodrigo, through injuries and a couple of other different situations and not really getting into the team all that consistently, didn't get as many goals as maybe he could potentially. I still think Rodrigo could definitely do a job in the Premier, could definitely do a job at Leeds, but I haven't upgraded him. But I think his card will be, again, very good at the start of 22. And I say again because he was very, very good at the start of 21. I really loved using his card. Again, I had him as sort of like a wide cam. As I mentioned earlier, I had one to watch Werner and one to watch He-Chan at my strikers, but I had Rodrigo as like a left cam, and he was unbelievable. I absolutely loved his card. So for me, Rodrigo is definitely worth keeping your eyes on. If his card is anything like this, definitely worth picking up. If it does go down to an 81 or they keep him at an 82, I would honestly say he's definitely worth trying to pay attention and snipe if he's going to be expensive. Because he's Spanish, because he's in the Prem, because he's got a decent enough rating, his value probably will be a little bit inflated initially, but I expect him to drop relatively quickly I would probably predict this guy being around 30,000-40,000 coins at the start of the game. You get some cards that really do sit at a very high price despite their rating, but if you get this guy early, it's worth using him because I think he's going to be fantastic. And the final player on our list is another player in the Prem, and I've gone with Ismaila Sarr from Watford. Now, this guy, I think, is going to be phenomenal. This, for me, is going to be the Adama Traore of this FIFA. Everyone was running Adama at the start of the FIFA year for 21. The main difference for me with Sarr, this guy can shoot. This guy's got very good shooting in comparison to the Adama of the start of 21. I think Ismaila Sarr is going to be an absolute gem. I really do think this guy's going to be incredible. I cannot wait to try his card out. Again, you've got a link to Dennis. It's a really nice, strong link there as well. And it's a very good start to a Premier League side if you can get him. Again, expect him to be pricey because he's going to be quick, he's going to have good dribbling, and he's going to have decent shooting for a winger as well. So definitely worth keeping tabs on him, but just bear in mind, as I've said, with all of these, I am a bit of a broken record here. They're going to be expensive. Expect them to be pricey cards because they probably will be. But that is the end of this video. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. Again, let me know down below if there's any cards in particular you're looking forward to at the start of FIFA. Let me know if you want to see some ideas for defenders or maybe midfielders that you're interested in. Maybe even goalkeepers. Goalkeepers are very hard to predict though, so I might not do the goalkeeper one. But if there's midfielders or defenders you guys are interested in seeing my predictions on cards that I think will be good at the start of the FIFA 22 cycle, then let me know by commenting down below. And again, please remember these are predictions. I'm not guaranteeing these are going to be the exact cards, but these are cards that I think A, will be good at the start of the game, and B, I'm predicting to have the kind of ratings and cards that I have given them. So if you've enjoyed it, please do leave a like. If you're new to the channel, hit that sub button, turn notifications on to be told at any time that we upload a video. If you want to catch us on our live streams, Hursty Games YT over on Twitch, there is a link in the description. And while you're there, make sure you check out our channel sponsors, Real Footy Prints and M21, and code Hursty will get you a discount at both. But for now, guys, I want to say a massive thank you for watching. I've been Tom. You guys have been awesome, and I'll see you soon. Look after yourselves, and of course, wash your hands.
His name is Hursty. Slap bald head, yeah, it'll probably hurt me. Bang top bins, it'll probably hurt you. Ginger, streamer, platform, YouTube. Drop a name in the chat, or say hello. Entertain, yeah, you already know. Capital H, yeah, I'm a read it slow. Hursty Games, yeah, you already know.